Hi, everyone. This is Alexander Carlos for Monday, June 28, 2021. And unfortunately, I had plans to do a different show. I'm sorry I didn't do a show last week, an Alexander News show last week. I had a lot of things going on. And also this Surfside, Florida building collapse that occurred has taken up the news here locally, big time, and also nationally as well. It's big news, national as well. I mean, to the point of even CNN, the Communist News Network, sent Wolf Blitzer to do live newscasts. That's how big it is. And so we're going to talk about the Surfside, Florida building collapse and what went wrong. No, it was not a terrorist attack. So let's just throw that out of the way. It's not anything terrorist like some crazy, stupid woman wrote to me on Twitter. I'm not even going to get to that. But there's definitely clear negligence. And we're going to discuss that on this show today. First of all, I want to thank you all for tuning in to the Alexander News Show. And if you want to call into the show, everything is down below the screen here. The number is 786-652-7240. And you can email the show as well, alexandernewsshow@gmail.com, and you can follow the show on Twitter. You can write to me on Twitter. Just be civil. That's the only thing. I mean, I had a couple of trolls, what I like to call trolls. That's what some of us talk show hosts like to call some of these losers trolls. They write stuff. Look, you want to be a troll? I'm going to get back at you and I'm going to pounce you. And I'm going to be much stronger than you. I can give it back double and triple. All right? So let's discuss the Surfside, Florida building collapse. Basically, the Chaplin Towers. Let me go ahead and give you the latest updates. Let me see if I can give you. Let me see right here. I'm going to give you. Okay, I'm going to tell you the name exact. I'm going to give you the exact name. Just want to make sure. Pardon me for a minute, because again, we're live, ladies and gentlemen. Okay, so Chaplin Towers South, and the address is 8777 Collins Avenue. So the towers. 4 days ago, part of the towers collapsed. Okay, so the latest figures. I'm going to tell you the latest figures right now. And you got to please bear with me. The latest figures, the latest news. There are 151 people still unaccounted for. And 135 who are accounted for. Okay, and there are 10 people that are confirmed dead. Now, those are the latest figures, and I'm going to give you information. I'm going to give you the press conference. By the way, let me see if I can give it to you. I'm going to give you the press conference of. Let's see if I can give it to you. Now, this is from Channel 7 News, so. I'll give it to you in a minute, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me. So, what went wrong? Again, listen, this is not a perfect show, ladies and gentlemen. So please bear with me. Since we're live, of course I'm bound to make mistakes here and there. So just bear with me. Okay, let me give you the news conference. This is Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Cala press conference from earlier today.
And the total counted 151. Our detectives are working in real time right now to audit this list. We're receiving multiple calls still from family members about the same loved ones, and the information is coming from various sources. I want to stress, as we have from the beginning, these numbers are very fluid and they will continue to change. I want to provide you, as we have done and will do, the best updates as soon as we have them. And so the process of...
Okay. So that's Miami-Dade Mayor Daniela Cava, which, by the way, let me mention very quickly here. So, okay, so let me give you the latest number. So I already gave you the numbers of, there's 10, they pulled another body from the rubble. So it's 151 people that are still unaccounted for, 135 that are accounted for. And that was Daniela Cava, the press conference. She has been wonderful. She has been a true leader. And you know me, I'm going to tell you right now, I don't carry buckets of water for, on the one hand, on each hand, right and left, for a certain political party or a certain political figure. I have been critical of Mrs. Daniela Cava, Mrs. Cava. Okay? I didn't even support her when she ran for mayor of Miami-Dade County, but she has been a true leader of this county. She has definitely boosted her rating as a political figure in this county. As a matter of fact, if it was her and it was Carlos Jimenez, let's say Carlos Jimenez right now being the mayor of the county right now, and this happened, I believe she would have done still a much better job of being a true leader instead of Carlos Jimenez, who's a fake Republican. The thing about Ms. Cava is that she's true. She has been very true, even though I disagree with her political views. She is a true, as each day passes, she's a true human being and a true political figure. Until she proves me wrong as a person, as a professional, and as a person. As a person, human being, she's true. She is a true person. True human being. And as a political figure, she's an absolute professional. Whether I agree with her or not politically, that's a totally different story. But she's been a true leader throughout this crisis. Unlike the fake Pepe Diaz, who's there as an opportunity, posing for pics. And I'll get to him another day. You can go on my Twitter feed and you can see what I've been writing about him. But she's been very true. And so has Governor Ron DeSantis of Florida. So I just want to mention and want to clear that up very clearly. Now, let's get to the bottom of this. Who's to blame for this very horrific, very unfortunate tragedy? This building is 40 years old. It was built in 1981. It's a 40-year-old building. By construction standards, it's not considered an old building. You know what's old? A building that was built in the 50s. Now that's old. And we got buildings in Miami-Dade and all across the United States that were built in the 50s, even in the 60s, 50s, even 40s, that are still standing. So how can a building that is 40 years old, it was about to go, by the way, go through its 40th year. It was about to go into a full-blown inspection, structural inspection, by the way, just so you know. So that's the first piece of information I'm giving you. How can a building like that just collapse, partially collapse? So let's give you a picture of the building. And I'm going to work on this, by the way, this program that I'm using. It's a great program for me to give you the live news. But I've got to work around it and study it more And that's going to take me some time. So bear with me because I'm going to go silent for a minute so I can show you images. And I'm going to be showing you different images of the Chaplin Tower building. And when I go away from the screen, you won't see my face. You will be hearing some silence. But that doesn't mean, oh my God, there's a technical issue. No, it's just that this is how the show, at least for now, is going to be conducted. So I can illustrate for you and conduct the show and give you a visual image as well of what I'm talking about. So let me get away and I'll come back. Be about 5 or 6 seconds. Let me show you the Chaplin building collapse and you'll probably see, and you'll see some of the rescue workers. All right, so I'm back. You saw the building. I don't think you can see the rescue workers there in the background, but I pulled that image from one of the Google images. There's a lot of them, but I'm still trying to work on getting this show to be top notch, the imaging and the editing and so on and so forth, and I'm still trying to become like top notch pro at doing a talk show, especially live, which is a lot harder to do than a podcast. By the way, the Alexander News Show podcast, I'm going to start doing podcasts probably later this week. And again, I will be having a set schedule of when I'm going to be doing a live show, and I will be letting you all know. The best way to find out is on Twitter. But for in the meantime, because my schedule is crazy and I'm still trying to get my hands around this whole Alexander News Show thing, I'm going to just be coming on unexpectedly. I didn't even go on Twitter to announce to the Twitter world that I'm going to be coming live. Nobody on Twitter knows. This is unexpected. So I probably don't have that many people looking at this show now. You'll probably be looking at this live stream recorded later on today or tomorrow, which is okay. I'm building my Alexander News Show YouTube channel, and I'm building it, and it's going to become a great thing. But anyways, let's get to the point of this show and who's responsible. So I've already confirmed with you the latest news, the latest numbers. By the way, I want to congratulate and I want to give props to the fire rescue personnel and the police as well, search and rescue workers that are conducting search rescue operations. There are over 300 search and rescue workers, emergency workers. When this happened, by the way, when this happened, the collapse occurred, which was like 4 or 5 days ago, happened late last week. Not only did Miami-Dade Fire Rescue respond, but Broward County sheriffs and other fire departments in Broward County had to respond and responded. And also in Miami-Dade County, of course, Hialeah Fire Rescue, Miami, City of Miami, Miami Beach responded. It was an all hands on deck approach. Now we have different urban search and rescue teams from the state of Florida and even across the country. And from around the world, Israel and Mexico sent teams to conduct the search and rescue operations here. This is an all hands on deck. It's exhaustive. So for the I understand that the families the ones grieving are desperate, and they're like complaining for that one woman who's a mother yelling at Ron DeSantis, asking Ron DeSantis, you need to do more. This is a very delicate operation, and these rescue workers are putting their lives on the line because, and why am I saying that? Because basically you're stepping on this rubble that collapsed. And one misstep, and you could get hurt or even get killed. And by the way, the other part of the building, which, by the way, let me show you. The other part of the building that you see there could collapse as well at any moment. I just wanted to mention that. So, I mean, and I feel bad for the victims, but this is a very, very, very delicate operation. And so, yeah, this is a job. I mean, Daniela Cava has been an extraordinary leader, political leader. She's been the face of this whole entire ordeal, showing the face in the press conferences. And Florida Governor Ron DeSantis. For those of you that say, oh, he doesn't care, he's been here every single day. Every single day. Definitely. For all you haters out there. And the rescue workers and the police. So let's be realistic. Are there going to be any survivors under the rubble that you're going to be able to find? You might be able to find one or two. I mean, I'm being realistic. I hate to be a negative here. But the reality is it's going to be hard to find any survivors that are remaining. And I don't believe that this is going to continue to become a search and rescue effort. I believe that the next 24 to 48 hours are crucial. 24 to 48 hours are crucial. After that, if they don't find any more bodies, trying to find, search and rescue, next 24 to 48 hours, and the next 72 hours, this will turn out to be a recovery effort, an effort to just look for bodies. 150 people, over 150 people dead. So I'm going to give you information about what caused this. So the building, and I'm so sorry that I have to say this, 160 people that died in this horrific building collapse. So the collapsed Miami condo had been sinking into earth. So let's talk about the theory of it being sinking, the whole thing of climate change. Not want to get into the whole climate change 110%. Because to be honest with you, if we get into this whole climate change debate, then I'm going to be here on the show, doing the show for 3 hours, and I don't have 3 hours. So I already gave you the figures. 10 people right now are confirmed dead. They're identifying them with DNA. Every family member of the victims that are unaccounted for or have been identified, that have been found, family members are being asked to provide DNA. So they can identify the people that are found, the victim, the bodies that they find under the rubble a lot easier. DNA is great to identify a dead body. It's awesome. It's a great piece of science. So I've already mentioned that building is 40 years old. It was about to go a full-blown inspection. I mentioned Daniela Cava, the mayor of Miami-Dade County. She's been an extraordinary leader. And Ron DeSantis, been an incredible leader as well, our governor. Joe Biden gave a statement, sleepy old Joe Biden. But he's like, he's not in the picture. I'm not giving him any credit. I mean, he sent FEMA. FEMA's providing assistance. There is a fund. I will be putting it on my Twitter. I think I put it on my Twitter. Over $1.5 million have been collected so far. That's nothing, by the way. These victims and these families of this building, when it's all said and done, they're going to need a lot more money than that. That's just a drop in the bucket. The first lawsuit has been filed, $5 million against the building believe against the condominium association. So let's talk about. So that's some of the news. So yeah, there's going to be a lot of lawsuits. So let's talk about the first. Let's talk about what caused this building, the collapse of the building. The first theory is, and by the way, I put up some videos, and you can go to my Alexander News Show YouTube channel. You can also go to the Instagram, and you can see some of the videos I've been posting about the building collapse, and also my Twitter. I just want to let you know. So everything that I'm discussing right now, I pretty much have already been putting out on Twitter. I've been putting out on Instagram, and I've been putting out on the YouTube channel, this YouTube channel that I'm doing the live show. I'm just kind of just going over everything that I've been putting out the last 72 hours, especially the first one I'm going to be talking about, which is collapsed Miami condo. This is little pieces of articles that I have gotten from a source. I have my sources, pieces of articles that I've gotten from my places where I get the news from as well. Real news, not fake news. Collapsed Miami condo had been sinking into earth as early as the 1990s, researchers say. That information you can find on my Twitter, Instagram, YouTube. I edited it and I put it like a little video. Make it easy. And you could just play it back and forth. So that's one theory. Climate change. Did climate change play a part in the sinking of this building? That's a very good question. Logic, common sense will tell you that Miami Beach, all of that's called the barrier islands, by the way. What Surfside is, Miami Beach, South Beach, if I'm not mistaken, you can correct me by commenting below this video. That is called the barrier islands. The barrier islands, I believe at one point were underwater, and then now they're above and they're an island. And science and scientists have been saying for years that they're sinking. They're going to go underwater. And the sand is sinking in a lot of these islands, especially right along the coast, the East Coast, especially here in Miami-Dade County. So it is a fact that the sand, and again, I believe that global warming, let me make this very clear, human caused 100%. Let me clarify, because I have to do another show about this, because things have changed a little bit about my education about this. I have been doing more research. 100% human caused global warming is false. The sun has a lot to do with the climate change of the earth. Now, I do believe that humans are also at fault for some of the damage that has been caused to the earth environmentally, and some of the climate that has changed to the earth. Some humans are to partially be blamed for that as well. Now, the theory that the sand has been sinking, let me give you this part right here. A Florida high-rise that collapsed early Thursday, that was last week, was determined to be unstable a year ago, according to a researcher at Florida International University. I'm not sure. Okay, yeah, it was a study that was done in 2020. The building, which was constructed in 1981, has been sinking at an alarming rate since the 1990s, according to a 2020 study conducted by Shimon. I'm not going to mention his last name. You can find it in the video. It's got a weird name. It starts with a W. Wandong. I won't attempt it, but he's a professor in the Department of Earth Environment. When Shimon saw the news that the Chaplin Tower South condominium in Surfside had collapsed, he instantly remembered it from the study, he said. I looked at it this morning and said, oh my God, we did detect that. The researcher said in his research is not meant to suggest certainty about what caused the collapse. The building was sinking at a rate of about 2 millimeters a year in the 1990s, and it could have slowed and accelerated at the time since. In his experience, even the level of sinking observed in the 1990s typically results in impacts to buildings and their structures. Shimon said, I won't mention his name, he believes that very well could have been the case for the Chaplin Towers in the 1990s based on the findings. So, could the fact that the sand sinking have caused the building to collapse? That's a very good question. So that's one part that investigators, and make no mistake about this is going to be a federal investigation. The federal government is the one that's going to be investigating. I'm not sure which is the agency is going to be investigating this. And I wouldn't, by the way, I wouldn't be surprised if the FBI investigates, because there very well will be criminal negligence. And we're going to get to that really quickly on this show. There might very well be criminal negligence in this. But we're talking about climate change. Did it play a part? It could very well be. It could be a common, it could be just straight up could be climate change, 100% that caused this, the sand's just sinking and it caused the building to just collapse since the 1990s. And that is a problem. It's been talked about for decades. Since the 90s, since the 80s. The Miami Beach will one day go underwater. South Florida is below sea level, ladies and gentlemen. It's not above sea level. We have the Everglades right next to us, which is basically water. So basically, that is a very good question. The sand could have, by it sinking since the 90s, and this researcher did a study and released it, and basically, when was it? According to a study, this study was conducted in 2020. Since the 90s, he conducted this study. So it could be that climate change, the sand sinking down, and again, we're not going to get into this. Could it be because it was humans that caused it, or the sun? We're not going to get into that. I already mentioned to you that if the climate of the earth is changing, a lot of it has to do with the sun, but also part of it as well is us humans destroying our earth. It's a two-way. It's two ways to look at it. That's my opinion. But let's just say that climate change might play a part, and that is that the sand was sinking. Boom, the building collapsed. So that's one avenue, and it could just be simply just that, or it could be a combination with the fact that also, and I'm going to give you, by the way, you can go Surfside, support surfside.org if you want to make a donation. I've already made a donation, by the way. I will put it up on my Twitter. Support surfside.org if you want to make a donation to help the victims of this accident. Let's go on to the next theory that I have here. The next piece of information news so there was an engineer that warned of major structural damage in 2018. A consultant in 2018 urged the managers to repair cracked columns and crumbling concrete. The work was finally about to get underway when the building collapsed. Let me get to the part where it talks about Let me get to that part. Let me see if I can. Okay, so engineer warned of major structural damage years before a Florida condo. So there was a firm. And I'm going to actually give you the name of the firm is Morabito Consultants. And I'm going to give you the statement. I'm going to read to you the statement. But they warned in 2018 to the Condominium Association that there was structural damage. Let me get straight to the pictures. I'm gonna give you some silence, and I'm gonna tell you what this engineer warned about in 2018, and this is where the negligence comes in. The condominium association, the people that run the building, the entire towers, they were warned of some major structural issues. Let me give you. I'm going to go away from the stream for a minute, and I'll be back when I'm going to show you some pictures. Bear with me for a second, ladies and gentlemen. Bear with me very quickly. I'm trying to become a pro at this again, doing the show. Oh, wait. I'm going to show you the pictures. I'm going to show you what I'm talking about, because pictures are a lot easier. Imaging is a lot easier than me talking about it and showing you. So I'm going to go away from the show real quick, and I'm going to show you what I'm talking about. This is what this engineer warned about. All right. I'll be back, but I'm going to show you the pictures. All right, I'm back. So that's exact. You saw the pictures? That's what I'm talking about. So remember when I just mentioned just a minute ago, it could be a combination of two things. It could be the sand caving in, and then of course you got the 4 pictures that you saw, the structural damage that this engineer was talking about in 2018. So it could be a combination of two things. It could be the sand caving in, and it could be the report from the engineering firm, which, by the way, again, I'm gonna tell you the name of it is Morabito, that conducted the study in 2018. It was like a study. It was like an inspection that they did of the Champlain Towers, and they presented it to the board, the condominium board. They told the condominium board it's going to cost you guys some money. You need to fix it. I'm looking for the dollar figure. It was going to cost about, I believe it was going to cost about $15 million to fix the entire building. You saw the pictures. The condominium board said, no. It's too much money. Because remember, there's politics that come into play in the condominium association. Politics come into play So they say it's $15 million. We're going to have to pass the costs. By the way, correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know if it's $15 million or if it's $9 million that it would have had to cost to fix the entire building. You saw the pictures of, it's 4 pictures. Obviously, there's more pictures, but you saw the 4 main pictures of what I'm talking about. So under the pool deck, the sand might have caved in, and then all of a sudden, you saw where the structure damage was occurring. That's where the building supposedly, from the news reports, that's where the issue starts. That's ground zero, and that's where boom, that's the cause of it. That's where the building collapsed. Now, that's just what news reports are out there showing right now. That's what I'm giving you right now. That doesn't mean that that's 100% the cause of the building collapse. I am explaining it could be the sand caving in and this report from 2018, or it could be just the sand, climate change played a part, and that's what caused the building to collapse. Or it could be this 2018 structural report, boom, 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 that was given to the condominium association. Condominium association said, oh, it's too much money. We're going to just ignore it. Boom, boom, boom. That's it. Or it could be both, combination of both. Or it could be also criminal negligence. So who's accountable? Who's accountable? It could also be that the building was built wrong in 1981. That's my theory. The building could have been built in totally wrong in 1981. You have to look at that too. So you notice that I haven't mentioned Charles Burkett, the mayor of Surfside. Every time he speaks, he looks like a bumbling fool, a complete fool. I know he wasn't the mayor of Surfside in 2018, but he obviously he knows more than what he's letting out, and he's being very careful. Mr. Burkett, I would really strongly, Mr. Burkett, I would very strongly, sorry, I'm having a little bit of a connection issue here. Okay. Mr. Burkett, I would strongly recommend you come out straight up and be honest with the public, because I have a feeling that you are holding some information that is very crucial. So I have, let me see if I can find the Surfside official inspector told residents that their building was safe despite engineers' warning. This is where the town of Surfside, and this is something I wrote before this report came out. And believe me, there's going to be more reports coming out as the days pass. More reports will be coming out. An engineering report that was dated, the one that I'm talking about, October 8, 2018, at a November 15 board meeting of the Champlain Tower South Condominium Association, a building official from the town of Surfside. By the way, his name is Ross Brito. Last name is spelled Prieto. Appeared to discuss a report. Structural engineer. To discuss, he was a structural engineer or an inspector for the. Is it Ross Brito? Let me see. What is he? Oh, no, he's an inspector. Okay. To discuss the report that I was discussing. The pictures that you saw. The pictures. And in the minutes meetings say, the town of Surfside, by the way, has this they have this in their website. They have all this information, by the way. But this came out in the news media. Well, anyway, so the inspector said, it appears that the building is in very good shape, according to town official, Mr. Brito. Brito is no longer employed by Surfside, by the way. NPR, this is from NPR, by the way. This is from NPR. You can go to NPR, government news entity. They tried to reach him, but those efforts were unsuccessful. Mr. Brito, looks like you're going to have law enforcement contacting you in the very near future to talk to you. So it looks like there's some criminal negligence here. So yeah, the minutes from the meeting appear to conflict with comments made by the current mayor of Surfside, Charles Burkett, who said Saturday that the report was likely not read at the time. Burkett was not the mayor in 2018, but told reporters that the town did in fact have the report on file. Miami-Dade County Mayor Daniela Levine Cava, who has been an extraordinary leader, by the way, again, told reporters Saturday that the officials knew nothing about the report. Miami-Dade County, to be fair, probably had no idea about that report because Miami-Dade County doesn't have a lot of zoning jurisdiction over towns when it comes to building code enforcement. Again, I'm not 100% sure about this. I know they have jurisdiction when it comes to Durham. But it's interesting. And the mayor at the time, by the way, in 2018, was a Danielle Edward Dietch. The last name is Dietch. Edward Dietch. I think it's Dietch. He was the mayor. It was not Burkett. Burkett is a problem. Why is he a problem? Because he's holding more information and he's not letting everything out. Thank God for Mrs. Cava because she's taking over this entire thing. The county is taking over this entire thing, except take away this Pepe Diaz, the opportunist with the picks that likes to take picks. So there is criminal negligence, and I believe that the town of Surfside can be criminally held liable. Could be because of the report that I just read to you, Mr. Brito. Where is Mr. Brito? Where are you, Mr. Brito? So I'm going to do another show about this. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but this is something that I'm going to get to. I'm going to put my hands around, and I'm going to strangle it. And I'm going to find out as much as I can to see who's really to blame for this. So the Earth sinking, could be. But then you start, the 2018 structural report. Okay. By the way, this is not me inventing this news. This has already been out. It came out. News media already, it's been out there. I just got it and I edited it and I put it into a video, and it's on my YouTube channel. This one that I'm doing right now, the live show. And it's on Instagram and it's on Twitter. By the way, all the information is down here under the screen. I want to get an expert as well, a construction expert, so we can find out more about this, how a building like this can collapse. It's definitely a combination of things. I think it's a combination of things. 1981 could be that the building was not constructed properly. That could be number one. Number two could be also that the sand was caving down, just the earth sinking. That could be a contributing factor. The 2018 report is a major, major concern. And from that firm, by the way, they put out a statement. They have to protect themselves. They're going to be talked to as well. Let me give you their little statement. It's not going to be in the full screen, by the way, but I'm going to show you real quick just a little part of the statement. Again, my graphics, I'm still working on trying to get everything 100%. But let me correct as far as trying to fit an entire picture into the screen. Please bear with me. But let me show you some of the statement. And at least you'll get to read a little bit of their statement. I did the best I could, by the way. So complete silence real quick. All right. So Morbido did an inspection. It was an inspection. That's what they did in 2018. They hired, the Condominium Association hired Morbido. Morbido, they released a statement. You can go to their website, by the way. Morbido, but it's not Morbido. It's Morbido. I'm very bad with words. I had a speech problem until I was 10 years old, by the way, just so you know. Morbido Consultants issue statement on building collapse in Surfside, Florida. We at Morbido Consultants are saddened by the tragic events that have occurred at Chaplin Tower South Condominium. Our hearts and prayers go out to everyone affected by this event. We also want to express our deep gratitude to the first responders, rescue workers, search and rescue teams that are working tirelessly to save the lives of the many who are still accounted for. I'm not going to read the entire statement. You can go to their website and it's there. The point of contact, if you're interested, is Brett Marcy, 717-903-0225. Now, they presented a report to the Condominium Association. They told the Condominium, I'm pretty sure the Condominium Association asked, how much is it going to cost to fix this entire building? About $15 million. Oh, no, it's too much money. Just get the hell out of the way. Then a Surfside official, Mr. Brito, goes, he's there. He looks at the building, is like, oh, okay, the building's in good shape. And boom, 2021, the building collapses. Here we are today. There could be 160 people dead, more or less. So yeah, there's definitely civil negligence, and there's definitely probably criminal negligence. Who will investigate? The FBI for sure will take the lead in this. It's got to be the FBI, Federal Bureau of Investigation. Now, the town of Surfside, definitely, I know that there's some people out there who say, well, they have immunity. It's going to be hard to prove, blah, blah, blah. Well, you still got to investigate them. You still got to get their records. You're going to have to investigate Mr. Brito. You're going to have to investigate Mr. Brito. You're going to have to investigate him. It'd be interesting to find out also Mr. Diatek, the mayor of 2018 at the time, and who were the commissioners also in 2018 of Surfside. I didn't get that information. I'm sorry. I didn't have enough time for that. I will get it for the next show. The next show we're going to talk about, again, the Surfside building collapse. I don't know if it'll be tomorrow, but for sure, I'm definitely going to do live show in the next couple of days. I got to get more information. Now, if you want to know the theory, okay, so before I close the show, accountability, who's liable? Is climate change liable? I wouldn't put it past. Could be a little bit, but it's humans that cause this freaking thing. People that are lazy, shoddy work. The building was probably built wrong in 1981, more than likely. You got to look there, the developer and the construction company that built that building. Which, by the way, there was an article that came out. And those people that did that, they're dead. So if you wanted to go after them, you can't do anything about that. But you got to look at that. Number one, they're liable. They're negligent. The 2018 report. Morbido, by the way, I know some people were saying they could be held liable. I don't know where you can find them liable. They did their jobs. They presented their study They were hired by the condominium association. They presented their study. It's the condominium association, the owners of that building, that are liable, and they need to be investigated to the full extent of the law. They had to do repairs to that building. They didn't. They ignored it. And the building official, the inspector for the Surfside, Mr. Brito, you need to talk to him. They need to find him. And you need to, and the people in the town of Surfside knew about this, including Mr. Diatek, the mayor. Probably knew about it. And Mr. Burkett knows about this, even though he's not mayor, but he knows more than he's letting out. So, town of Surfside, when this is all said and done, they may not be a town anymore. Miami-Dade County may have to absorb them. Oh yeah, because it's going to be a lot of lawsuits. A lot of money. So, ladies and gentlemen, I thank you for listening, watching the Alexander, sorry, I'm moving the camera, watching the Alexander News Show. I thank you for tuning in, watching. It's a sad time right now in our county. Miami-Dade County has never had anything like this happen. There's a study from South Beach to Sunny Isles, probably even more. 500,000 people, more like going into Broward County, but let's focus on just Dade County. Over 500,000 people, close to 600,000 people who live right along the coast are worried now to death about, they're worried to death. Like, is my building going to sink? Is my building going to cave down? Is it going to collapse? Was it built correctly? This is going to change the whole construction industry, not only in South Florida, but in the entire United States. But at least here in South Florida for sure. You thought Hurricane Andrew did an impact on the whole zoning, building and zoning. No, this is going to do it. Listen, you can't do shoddy work in construction because you're putting people's lives at risk. And condominium associations need to be held accountable. I think the condominium associations are given too much freaking power. And government is like, hands-on approach. No, government needs to put their hands on condominium associations and regulate condominium associations. There's too much freaking politics in condominium associations. Why? Who gives condominium association board members the power to play politics with people's lives? Okay. I thank you for tuning into the Alexander News Show. I'll be back in a couple of days. Have a good one, and bye.